Hey guys, how you doing? This is Chris with Success Agents Podcast and my co-host JP. We're here to bridge the gap between technology and humans and really enabling agents to leverage technology to grow their business and enhance their lead gen. Today we want to take the time to talk about planning a business with technology as a key pillar and the different steps you need to take to go and do that properly. Now JP is the real estate side of things. I'm the tech guy side of things. So we're going to be going back and forth about things, and we're just going to go from there. So just to start us off, JP, why don't you just tell us, what does it mean to build a business with technology as a key pillar? What does that mean to you?
So, obviously most people think that, real estate, generally speaking, is a human interaction piece. Like, we look at it as, we need to meet every client. We need to shake every hand. We need to have a face-to-face conversation with every single client. And really what that means is that, when you're trying to, depending on, what trajectory your business is going, you cannot physically be at every place. You cannot physically be on every single phone call, and you cannot physically shake every single hand. It's just impossible because, if you want to be small, be boutique, that's fine. That's great. But other people have grander, bigger visions on where they see their business going. And really at the end of the day, it comes down to a couple things. It comes down to is, what are your goals? Do you want to be big? Do you want to make a lot of money? Do you want to sell a lot of houses? Do you want to, be the face of real estate in your area? Mm-hmm. Or do you want to, just be that guy? I have this real estate guy, everybody, so it's like, oh, well, if you want to just be that real estate guy, well, that's fine. That's great and all. But then, like I said in our last podcast, what is your exit strategy? At the end of the day, when you've sold all these houses and you've made all this real estate commission, and then it's time for you to no longer do it anymore, what's your exit strategy? There's only so much savings you can have and hope that there's enough, hope that you're saving enough for the future. So what do you got to do? You have to leverage yourself through technology so that you can duplicate yourself without duplicating your staff. That's really the bottom line. Like, you have to figure out what that looks like. And
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so what does that look like then? So how do you duplicate yourself without duplicating your staff? What does that really mean though?
So there's buzzwords out there. VA, ISA, TA, whatever. It's some sort of assistant. Whether you have a physical assistant, like I have a physical assistant. I don't know if you can see her desk back there, but her desk is right back there. So I've got a physical assistant, and then I've got a AI assistant, working my leads for me in the background. And I don't know if most of you should know what AI is by now. It's been a buzzword for a few years, but if not, it's artificial intelligence, which helps facilitate me not being able to physically call every client, physically, make every appointment, physically do all these things in the background. So between Gmail add-ons, CRM integrations, and AI integrations as well, that's how I'm able to continue working when I'm physically not working.
So you're telling me that you're able to reach out to people, you yourself are able to reach out to people even though you're not doing it?
Correct.
And what kind of results does that lead as compared to someone who doesn't have this?
50% results, or, because I've not 50, it's 100%.
Right.
I mean, it's 100% extra effort. Like, it's me and then another me. So it's 100% duplicated me. And it's, and the thing what's cool is it's me, making the phone calls. It's me making the voicemail messages. It's basically me sending the text messages,
Right.
and so that people are interacting with me in a space that I don't physically have to do the actual handshakes and the touches and the in-person meetings and all of these things. Because really what it comes down to is, perception is reality, right? So, if a client has a perceived value that, that I'm providing the best service that I can, then they're going to want to continue to work with me. They're going to continue to refer me out and do all these things because they're going to say, dude, that dude was up at 2 a.m. and he sent me a text and he said, hey, unfortunately it's late. I have to can I get a hold of you in the morning, around 6 or 7 a.m., or we can continue to have this text conversation at that time. Does that work for you? And they're going to be like, holy crap, this dude is like legit,
Yeah.
It's not really legit for me to be looking at, houses in the middle of the night anyways. And then I sent out a message and then the dude like responded like, seriously, like we need to work with this guy, So really what it comes down to is the fact that it is, it's really important, like I use this philosophy, every lead, every time, and if you can't take on every lead every time, then you need to either dial back how you're getting your leads. Or
yeah, you see a lot of agents who are like, they keep buying all this lead gen. Like I understand that lead gen's super important and it's necessary. But I think there's way too much emphasis on it because kind of what you're saying, every lead, every time, for me, it's the most expensive lead is the one that doesn't convert. I mean, if you're buying all of these leads and you're not actually talking with them, okay, so it's one thing if you have systems to reach out and try to get these people to respond. And if they don't respond, they don't respond. And that's that. But if you're buying leads and then you're never taking your time or you don't have a system to do it for you to actually go and follow up, and we're not talking about like like basic email drip campaigns, because honestly, everyone knows that crap's fake. If you're not talking to your leads, it's just a complete waste of money.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and the thing too is it's, there's a phrase that happens in real estate that it's not a lead problem, it's a conversion problem. Like it's having a system of how you're going to talk to these leads and how you're going to have those conversations to get them to take action, and, by whatever means necessary, because, it's like a crying baby that needs a bottle, it's like, if they're just crying, and you're not giving them a bottle, then eventually they're either going to cry themselves to sleep. So you won't talk to them for several hours or several days or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Or you're going to give them a bottle right away and they're going to get exactly what it was that they needed at the time that they needed it. And that's the thing with lead conversion is you need to get them what they need at the time that they need it, not on the time that you think it's necessary.
Right. Well, it's like establishing that consumer confidence, because in the reality, we live in a crazy day of age where consumers just want things so fast. And they want to be heard and they want to be listened to, more importantly. So they need what they need and they need it right away. And if you're not going to give it to them, well, they've lost all of their confidence in your company because you're now not providing the value. And the worst part about that is they can just go on Google and go search for someone else who may do it. So if you just so you have to have those systems to grow that confidence. Man, you gotta get a lock on your door, bud.
I know, dude. My boss just walked in here. He's like, he wants to be part of the conversation or something.
Bring him on.
I know. What's up? Let's do this.
But yeah, man, it's all about that confidence and gaining that confidence from your leads and your lead sources and being there at the right time and providing the right messaging so it sounds real and authentic.
Yeah, and that's just it. It comes down to, making sure that that whatever, if your persona is embedded in whatever it is that you're doing, to make sure you do your lead follow-up, that it sounds genuine, that it's definitely you, that you care, that you want to help, and that you know, that at the end of the day, like, that whatever you're doing, it compels them to reach out to, whether it's basically you want them to either send you an email or a phone call. You know, that's what it comes down to.
Right. Well, it's the simple understanding of a call to action.
Yes.
Right? You know, it's a simple idea that I think gets overthunk or just forgotten about, but it's like, you got to give them a reason to call. And on an email, it can be as simple as just a question mark, which means you're asking a question, which means you're trying to provoke a response.
Oh, dude, I can't tell you how many times I've sent an email out that all it says in the subject line is quick question.
Yeah. Is that a subject line that works for you?
Yeah. Dude, I get more, that's like the highest response rate I get on anything is quick question. And they're like, well, what do you mean by quick question? They actually want to know something, you know, they want to know something from me, you know, like, oh, I better find out what this is all about, you know? And it's amazing the response you get on that one. So it's a good one.
So how do you make your follow-up genuine? Because, you know, when I talk to a lot of agents, and obviously, you know, I helped you do this, but I want to get your input from it. How did we make your follow-up sound genuine and not robotic? Like, what's the big difference in the messaging there?
You know, we're in a society of very short messages.
Yeah.
So, in not natural language.
Right.
So, you know, emojis and, you know, misspelled words and, you know, sent from iPhone, you know, those types of messages. That's, you know, in today's communication style, like, that is the majority of how we communicate. So, like, you know, and you got to understand your medium too. Like, you know, one thing that creates natural language is like, you're sending a text message and one word is misspelled, and you come back and you have asterisk, and then it's spelled correctly, and you hit enter, or you send out sorry fat thumbs, then somebody's going to know it's genuine. Like, that's how you know. And then sometimes, like, you know, in a medium like email, where you have a lot of like white space in between the text.
Yeah.
You know, whereas back in the old days, you know, when someone used to send an email, it was like, back in the day, 70 years ago, paragraph, enter, you know, sorry, new subject line, you know, and it was like very book-like. That's not how we do email anymore. Email, it's like, hi, enter. What's going on? Enter, you know, and then it's like, hey, just so you know, enter, dot, enter, you know. And so they're like, oh, this must be really important. I got to keep reading. Like, you know, the suspense is killing me. You know, that's how, you know, like, we communicate, you know, through email is that, oh, well, there's a real genuine person on there, because nobody goes, hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing? Like, word to your mother. Like, you know, nobody has that kind of language in an email. Like, you just don't. Like, it's basically like email has become long form text messaging.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of bridged that gap between, or it's become text messaging. As a side note, I really like your idea of misspelling a word and then asterisk. I think we're going to add that to some campaigns, because that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just like you said, your mediums, and just like making it, I don't know. I mean, I know you're from a conservative area.
Super.
Yeah, super conservative area.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe it throws people off, but at the same point, you know, it makes it more inviting, because I think it adds that level of personality to the technology. Because if you're relying on that tech and just the tech, well, nothing is going to happen. You need that human aspect to it.
Right.
Only as good at.
It always comes back down to call of action every single time. Like, okay, well, please hold. Let me call you.
Right.
You know, because it's getting more complicated via text message. And so, you know, if you're gonna automate this stuff, it's always got to come back to some, you know, human interaction. So, So with that being said, we've got to be clear here that it's not just technology. It is human interaction, but not maybe face to face. But it is, I mean, ultimately you're doing one of two things. You're going to, in the real estate space is you're coming down to, one is, you want a buyer to buy or you want a seller to sell. Like those are just, at the end of the day, like that's what it comes down to, is that, you want them to reach out for more information, more than what's reasonable to automate.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe down the road, we might be able to put little recorders on our temples or something, and it'll create my, avatar. And then I can just be like, dude, you don't even program this stuff anymore. You just take your little chip thingy and you stick it in your computer and it creates your virtual avatar and you're done, dude. Like, and then it'll just like, it's like, Alexa, can you show this house? Yes, JP, I'll go show your house for you. Alexa, can you open this lockbox? Yes, sir, I'll open your lockbox. And then, there's like like in the Star Wars where there's a hologram that shows the house for you. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we got VR. I mean, Lowe's and Home Depot, they're using it for their kitchen remodels. Like the Matterport camera is pretty cool, and I think it works really well if you don't have VR.
No, dude, I have a Matterport camera.
Yeah, I mean, I like Matterport. I think it's cool as hell, but I wonder, like what's the difference between that VR? Because, with VR, I just did it the first time like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was like the craziest experience I've ever had. I was like trying to climb mountains and whatnot, and it's really difficult.
Well, and the problem with VR is that the glasses aren't affordable enough.
Yeah.
Even I think the cheapest one out there is Google Cardboard. And even with that, it's still like a couple $100.
Yeah.
To maybe use it once or twice. But I guess if it's the difference between, taking a drive across town or across country, a 7-hour drive or a 3-hour flight, just throw on some VR glasses and go walk through some houses in Cheyenne, Wyoming, like, shoot, I'll do it. Why not? It might even come down to, hey, that JP guy, he's got it dialed in. I want to see what he's got going on. And then I would just be like, dude, I'll just send you some VR glasses and let's go look at some houses,
Yeah, that's an interesting.
I'll be like, dude, just call me. We'll send you some VR glasses. We'll put it in a return shipping label, a box. And then, and they're going to be like, well, we're going to use JP because that dude said he'd send me some VR glasses. And even that, and then I might even say, okay, well, what if those listings aren't mine? I'll just say, hey, if it's the difference between getting a deal or not, I could say, hey, Mr. Agent, can I shoot a VR, of your house, and then if my guys don't buy it, I could sell you back the VR for 3 or 4 months worth of hosting. And then, then I'll help you sell your house,
Yeah, that's interesting. I know VR is kind of, I feel like it's going to be like a niche thing. I don't know, like when the Nintendo Wii came out, I'm obviously younger than you, but the Wii came out and it was like this, just like this elephant in the room as compared to like the PS3 and the Xbox 360. And I felt like we had one and I like used it very seldomly. It was only to play Wii Sports. So if I wanted to go bowling or go golfing, which was honestly like, after you got over the fun of it, or like the cool factor of it, I guess, I don't think I played it for like over 2 years until we eventually sold the damn thing.
Well, I think, yeah. And it's, if you're looking at it but I think it's niche only for what happens is you've got to have somebody that's an interrupter. So you got to have that thing that's going to interrupt the market. And then all of a sudden, it goes away. And then somebody takes that interrupter and says, there's got to be a way to make this even cooler than what it was then. And then it comes back around and they're just like, dude, we had this. It's like this idea of like the keto diet.
Yeah.
So you remember in the 90s, that was Atkins diet.
Mm.
Atkins was the thing. Dude, are you doing Atkins? Da, da, da. And they're like, well, if we just label it something else and then reintroduce it like it's brand new, no one will ever know. And then they're like, hey, let's call it keto or ketosis, getting in ketosis, because, you know, anything with osis at the end makes it cool, right?
Makes it smart.
So if we could add osis to the end of real estate, you know, it would make it even better, like real estate-tosis or something.
Ooh, that
You
does
know, and
flow
then people
though.
are like, dude, do you have real estate-tosis? That might sound like you got some bad breath or something, like halitosis or something, but I don't, you know. But what I'm saying is, it's like, you know, you take something old, you make it cool again, but you rebrand it. But then because they didn't have social media back in the Atkins days, you know, so now with social media, it's almost like you could take anything that's old and make it cool again. So what I really need to do is go back and watch like old TV shows from like the late 80s and 90s and be like, what could I bring back up, you know, that could be cool again, you know, like, I don't know, like mullets or something, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you could really make mullets ever cool again. I think The Rock killed that when that picture came out with him in the fanny pack. I think that was the end of that. So, but there's got to be some other, you know, I mean, whatever. But with VR, I think what's going to happen is, you know, VR has been around since the 80s, really, when Nintendo came up with that VR helmet and everything was red and black.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Look, dude. KB Toy Store used to sell that junk back in the day, dude. You have to go back and check it out.
I thought you were gonna say like the duck shooting. I thought that was the closest thing to VR.
Duck hunt?
Yeah, duck hunt.
No. Nintendo had this. It was the Nintendo VR, and it was literally like a box that was like this freaking big, and you'd look into it, and it was like you could play video games on it. It was black and red.
Huh.
It was like right after the original Game Boy came out. Did you find it?
Yeah, and they have like these power gloves and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, it's legit, man.
Man, you guys had all the video games
back in the day, man. We already invented all this stuff once, you know. Now they're trying to make it come back and cool again. So, but I mean, the thing is, the idea is that each iteration, someone's gonna crack the code on how to make it right.
So how do you pick like some of these technologies though to implement into your business? Like how do you create that prioritization?
Dude, so after doing this almost 9 years now, it's a trial and error process. It really just comes down to, you know, you find kind of your three niches, your three things that drive your business, and then you allocate funds for the next coolest thing, and then you drive that bus for 6 months, and then if it doesn't work, you drive another thing for 6 months. Because contrary to popular belief, something else that's cooler than Zillow and Realtor.com will come along. I'm just saying. Like someone, you know, like nobody thought that somebody could beat up Amazon, you know, and then Facebook comes around and then is now a direct competitor with, well, let me rephrase that. So Walmart, you know, Walmart was the behemoth, right, and they've been around forever. And then all of a sudden Amazon comes out of nowhere after Walmart's been around for who knows how long now. And now Amazon cracked the code on how to, you know, destroy Walmart. So then, you know, and then Google comes out beating up Netscape Navigator and Juno and all these other, you know, ask.com and all these other search platforms. And then Google comes in after they've been around for 20 years and just crushes it. And then Facebook comes out of nowhere with the, you know, up against, you know, what's the one that Justin Timberlake bought?
MySpace?
MySpace.
He bought
so
that?
MySpace was yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he tried to buy it and then revive it with a couple of silent partners and try to make it MySpace music and to try to crack the code on just social music aspect of things.
So that was recently then, because I remember seeing commercials.
Oh no, dude, this was like 5 or 6, 7 years ago. Easy.
Oh, because yeah, they're trying to make a comeback. I mean, I haven't seen commercials in a while now, but they're trying to make a comeback. I mean, their best bet would be advertised on Facebook, and that's self-defeating. So.
Right. Well, yeah, and then, but But it's like, someone's going to crack the code on how to go up against Amazon or Realtor.com. Like someone's going to figure out a better way to do real estate, you know? So what you got to do is you always got to kind of have your hands in what's going on outside of just, sticking to these platforms that are just, so static and stuff. I mean, yeah, most of this stuff is tried and true. With relative consistency, you're going to close deals, that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, there's going to be something out there that's going to be the next interrupter. So you got to keep your eyes open on what's out there. And so, usually like what I kind of look at is, how can I get into something that's relatively inexpensive that I'm not, that if to make it easy for me to get out and try something else.
So you'd say like 6 months is kind of like where you put, that's like a good trial, like a true trial, 6 months?
Yep. I mean, yeah, 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Try it out. I mean, and don't spend gobs of money on it until you see that it's actually working. Like I got in on realtor.com when it first came out to offering services to agents. And, that was a game changer for my business at that time. It was like I was spending $150. I was closing 1 or 2 deals a month. I started making livable wages. Just made sense. And then they'd ask me if I wanted to contribute a little bit more. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll spend a few more dollars and see what it does. And eventually it just, you grow your business, and for it, and doing those kinds of things, online leads and all that stuff is not for everybody. I mean,
sure.
There's 2 things when it comes to growing your real estate business. You're either going to spend all money or time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want, there are very time, and it's really that currency. You have the currency of time, but at some point you're going to run out of that currency. There's only so much time. So, and so I'm like, okay, well, how do you leverage yourself? Well, through technology. So what does that do? Well, that costs money. So you can leverage your time, multiply your time through your spend, and you treat real estate like a business. So you got to have an ad spend. You've got to spend money to make money. I mean, it goes back to that old adage of that. So the reality of it is that, you just got to figure out how you want to structure your business. And for people that don't have money or a budget, then you're going to spend that with time until you run out. Yeah.
And while you're in that point where you don't have the money or the budget, I think it's important to figure out, what is taking a lot of time, what's still producing results, but always keep in the back of your head, how can I make this easier? Even if it's creating, if you have 2 email accounts and one's your spam and one's your business and one's your personal, and you're always in your personal, not your business, well, then create a forwarding address within your business account so everything goes to one spot. And it's like simple tweaks like that can make literally hours of a difference each week, which means you're just spending more time going towards those advantageous activities to further grow your business and to just leverage, like you said, the currency of time. So it's just like, taking a step back and realizing, hey, this is taking me a lot of time. What can I do to simplify this?
Right.
And then actually going and doing it, do the research, spend the time, because it's going to take time to figure it out. But once you have it done, if it's, if you made a good bet, then it's worth it. And you can save yourself so much time and so much money and really so much stress.
Agreed. Yep. So looks like we're getting to the end of our time here.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, JP, it was a good time as always.
Yes, sir. So if you guys want to find me, you can go to jfluellen at Instagram. You can find me on JP's real estate page on Facebook. You can email me at james.fluellen@gmail.com. And you can direct message me there, or just hit me up on Facebook. And or you can just Google me, JP Fluellen. I'm everywhere. So I'm trying to be like Google, man, just, omnipresent, so
There's another buzzword, omnipresence.
Omnipresence. That's right. We should have named this thing the omnipresent agent, dude.
Oh, that is sexy. I do like
It is.
that.
I don't know. I don't know if that screams success though or not, rather than just saying it right out loud. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and like
Maybe.
success agent's kind of like a chemistry component. You know, it's the agent, this active agent to your
Yes.
success.
You
You know,
just mix a little success agent in your daily cup of Java and you'd be good to go. So there you
exactly.
go.
Guys, if you're enjoying this show, please would do us a huge favor if you could just like our page on Success Agents. You can direct message me if you want to my Facebook profile. I have another business profile called Centaur Systems, which I'll explain that naming later. Oh, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's like, I guess I'll explain it now. It's half horse, half man, and the two create this ultimate amalgamation of a creature, so he can do more things than a horse could do by themselves or a man could do by himself. And it's kind of like the same idea, combining the human element with technology. So it's a centaur system.
There you go. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
If you're into animals or if you're into humans, check it out.
Yeah. Or if you just like real estate and technology, I mean, that's what we're going for.
There's that too.
Better than Insynqk Systems. I mean, I was so tired of hearing, ba, ba, ba. It's killing me. But yeah, guys, we're trying to do this every week, so feel free to leave us some comments, throw us a like, throw us a share, and we'd love to hear your input and give us some ideas on things you want us to hear us talk about.
All right, guys.
All right, catch you later, JP.
See ya.